Hello everyone. I am back in the action, feeling a little bearish. So let's get into the markets and try to figure out the why behind. Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we going sideways? What can be the next step? We want to be forward looking in the markets and how to play it. So let's first look at the Qs. The Qs somehow with the gap down this morning, as you can see, I got a 5-minute and I got a daily on my screens. We had a pretty big, I shouldn't say big, we had about a 0.5% move to the downside this morning. And what happened? Everything got bought back up. As you can see, the Qs are green because of Apple. Apple, every analyst firm upgraded the stock today after the big sell-off yesterday with their event. So this was obviously a planned attack by Wall Street, and Apple's having its biggest day, hitting a new 52-week high. So this is planned. Obviously, Apple going to control the Qs, and what's starting to look a little fishy, a little suspect. So you basically have Apple lifting up the Qs, Microsoft holding up okay, but what did we have yesterday? The big split with NVIDIA, and the stock is pretty much sold off since the split. So think about this picture. Everyone buys the hype in NVIDIA. Well, after earnings, the stock rallied another 20 bucks, right? So it's another 200 bucks. Everyone who's bag holding, buying up here, if NVIDIA starts to go lower, they're gonna get forced liquidated. You're gonna have a drastic, quick sell-off. Well, what's gonna happen to the Qs then? Well, the chips, we should say, are gonna sell off too. There's some news with China and the chips this morning. So the Qs are going to sell off. That's going to drag down the Qs. Now, can Apple, Microsoft, those names hold up the Qs on their own? Yeah, but I do think this move in Apple today is a sign of a top. A lot of people, over the next day or two are going to hear about the Apple event and see the move in the stock today. They're going to buy, and pretty much they're late to the party because why? Wall Street already moved the stock today. So it is setting up a pretty good picture of a market top. I don't want to call market tops because that's, well, unheard of, right? You're never going to call the exact top, but it is looking, people have made like Cisco examples of when they did the split, that was the top in the Qs from back in the day. But also if you look at meme stock mania, we just got done with that with the GameStop and AMC. By the way, the Roaring Kitty was up $200 million and now he's up barely anything, which is crazy to say that. It's just a lot of the market euphoria just seems a little overdone. And I would rather be a seller than a buyer here, hence why I'm looking at more bearish positions. Now, if I'm wrong and the Fed comes out tomorrow, which is Wednesday, and markets gap up higher, then it's kind of throwing the towel, right? But until then, I would rather look at bearish activity than bullish activity. I went over in a training today about like bonds and gold and all that stuff. Bonds are making a move today. That's obviously helping the markets. Gold hasn't been doing much. It's pretty stable. The VIX, it's complacent. Complacency kills, but to be fair, it has been complacent for a long time. I just don't see a lot of stuff I like. What could be the next catalyst? Maybe earnings season. But I'd rather not chase up here. There's not a lot of things that I like. Obviously, if you were in Apple, you like the market, but you can't just have one or two stocks. It was NVIDIA holding up the market. Now I think NVIDIA is going to come down. Now Apple is now holding up the market. If Apple comes down, you only got so many names that can do that. So it's looking, again, a little overextended. You're starting to have, the S&P looks like the Qs, right near highs. But if you look at the Dow, which no one ever does, and to be fair, it's horrible, the Dow's not near the highs. Small caps, this is interesting. Nice move off the lows, obviously, today. But small caps and value, even mid caps ain't been doing anything. I do think small caps rally towards election, or post Trump win, I should say, election. But until then, I think you have the Russell come back down about 195, even lower. Maybe we get back to support up in these pockets here. And I think the Russell will probably just trade sideways in here, maybe even lower. And then election time, I think you have a Trump win, and then small caps go crazy. And I think that's going to be the trade heading into end of year, is small caps, quite frankly. So could be wrong. You know, the only positions I really have on, and nothing with size, I have some APR puts, which is a REIT. I mean, looks like crap, doesn't move much. It's really the only thing with some, you know, oomph to it, really. A little bit of Oxy. Again, it's a Buffett stock. You know, it's not going to move anything crazy. I do have some NVIDIA puts, which obviously has been selling off since the split. I had some puts in the Qs, but covered, thankfully, because, you know, it is hard to be fair, it's hard to buy puts. I was selling my Q puts this morning up in here, down here. Obviously, I wish I could say I got the low, but I didn't. But now, you know, look at the move, right? Went green on the day. So put buying is hard. It's difficult. If you're not comfortable with it or shorting, you could always sit on your hands, wait for a better time, opportunity. I got lots of cash on the sidelines. I just don't feel comfortable putting it to work yet. Until I do, I will let you know. Let me know what you think about the market. Are we overbought, oversold? Is this the top? Is Doomsday coming? Or is this the start of a low volume grind higher in the US stock market?